It turns out, and this is from Bearing Arms, so hat tip to them, signs of civil disobedience in Illinois gun registration efforts. Now, if you guys have been living under a rock, Illinois passed an assault weapons ban, of which they basically said a bunch of things are banned and you need to register your items. Well, Tim, how do you think that's going? How do you think that's complying?
Well, historically, it's never played out well for the tyrants that have imposed such draconian measures. And it looks like they're falling flat again. But hey, I did read an article where the state is optimistic that at the last minute, people are going to race in and register themselves. They're not ready to throw in the towel yet. But I have some bad news for them. If you take a look at history, it hasn't played out well in Connecticut, didn't play out well in Colorado, didn't even play out well for the feds when they tried it with bump stocks and braces. Nobody complies. Yeah. And
it's weird.
Yeah. Strange, huh?
It's odd. In fact, I think the quote you're referencing is coming up in a second. It's something about a flood of new regulations, and I can't wait to get to it. But before we get to the hopes and dreams and the copium, let me show you the actual numbers, Tim. You, as a man of intelligence, you are going to love these numbers. Allow me to get my narration voice on for this. There's just a little more than a month left before Illinois gun owners must register their so-called assault weapons with the state police or risk the possibility of criminal charges if they're caught with their modern sporting rifle. And so far, it looks like many gun owners are willing to run that risk. As of November 21st, fewer than 3,500 gun owners have registered some 6,600 newly banned firearms with the state police, about 0.001% of the state's 2.4 million legal gun owners. But don't worry, Tim. They'll do it eventually.
God bless them. You can tell this was written by a
0.001, dude.
You can tell this was written by a pro-gun blog because they used the term modern sporting rifle.
Exactly right. They threw that in there. It was so good. It's so good. And here comes the hopium, because this whole thing is glorious. This is number 3. So for state officials who are downplaying the lack of compliance, suggesting there'll be a flood of new registration as we get closer to the January 1 deadline. The flood. Yes. There's a flood coming. Where's Noah and his ark? Get ready.
People are milking it, you know. They pull the pin on that grenade and they're just sitting there. They're counting down. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
And
just rolling that dice, baby.
They're gonna chuck it. Yeah, 3 or 4. They're gonna heave it, and they're gonna just all mass show up and overwhelm the system, because that's their actual act of noncompliance. Is just it's kind of like showing up to pay your taxes with pennies. They're just trying to annoy them. You know. No, Illinois. No, it ain't gonna happen. They're not going to do it. I used to live in Illinois, and I hate admitting this. I used to live there. I didn't know any better when I first moved there. I immediately got out.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. My first clue I'd messed up was I walked into Gat Guns in Dundee, Illinois, and I said, "Hey, can I see that pistol?" And they said, "Hey, can I see your FOID card?" I'm like, "Hey, what the hell's that?" And they said, "Oh, you can't even touch a gun in this state unless you have one." I'm like, I guess I'm in trouble because I got a whole damn house full of them. But
I'm in the wrong state.
So anyway, but anyway, what I will say is up north around Chicago, yeah, it's far left, crazy, anti-gun, everything.
Yes.
But as you get away from that and you get downstate, it's a very rural community. They're very conservative and they love their firearms, just like most Americans.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to comply with the dictates of the northern Marxists. They're going to stick with the freedom, and they're going to hold their middle finger high. And God bless them for doing it.
Well, we're at 0.001, Tim. So you know what? Look at it this way: there's room to grow. There is, and there's a flood coming. It's amazing. In fact, Pritzker, that guy, he's such a peach. This is number 4. Listen to his wise words when someone asked him if no one cares what he says. Quote, "I can tell you, at least for me, that I think all of us take our time sometimes when we know the deadline is 2.5 months away, and that we'll find time eventually to go online, which is what they need to do and to register as they're required to do," Pritzker said. Mm-hmm. So he's chalking this up to, it's not that they're not complying. Everyone loves our unconstitutional gun laws. I signed it. I know they love it. They clapped. They're just procrastinating.
Yeah. They're waiting until the last minute to hit submit, Nailed
it.
This is what, in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken, they hit the deadline and nobody complied. Yeah. And so then they extended it, thinking that, well, maybe now they'll do it. And
they procrastinated.
They didn't comply. Yeah. The state procrastinated. It's just, oh my goodness. It was so funny. And same thing with Colorado when they passed their magazine ban. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can't have those. And all the sheriffs came out and said, we're not enforcing that. And so people just openly use their, standard capacity magazines all over the state of Colorado, and nobody cares. And they've even given up on enforcement, I think. I don't know, but You never seen the stories.
But they have the
anyways.
virtue signal, though, Tim. They have the virtue signal because, after all, they probably got their A- rating from Giffords.org and Everytown for gun safety. So therefore they are safer. They are.
Yep.
They are. It's for the children. It's for the children. Well, there's good news, Tim. And once again, you read the room excellently well. I don't even know how you do it. Let's talk about some sheriffs in number 5. You're a genius. After Pritzker signed the gun ban into law, an estimated 90 of Illinois' 102 sheriffs issued letters saying they believe the new gun law is a clear violation of the Second Amendment to the Constitution and they won't enforce it. Well, Tim, I'm no mathematician, but 90 out of 102 sounds like 90%.
No, that's just a simple majority. Oh, no, you're right. I mean, these people
the
are
simple
nuts,
majority.
Yeah,
if only.
That is awesome.
90. Maybe this is
$1.4 trillion.
Thank you, doctor. That was well timed. That was glorious. So it turns out that 90%.
90 out of 102.
That stings.
Let me tell you where those 12 counties are. Right around Chicago.
Exactly right.
Exactly right. Springfield.
Exactly right.
The hornet's nest of Marxism in the state.
Yep. 100%. That's exactly right. So let's just paint the picture for the people of the Second Legacy, because we are artists of freedom here, Tim. It turns out that you've got, of the sheriffs who have openly said this, a 90% rejection rate over your new gun law and registration requirements. And then of the people in the state, with 2.4 million, you've got a conversion rate or capitulation rate, let's just call it that, of 0.001. That doesn't look good.
Well. No, it ain't going well. You got the sheriffs holding their middle finger up, and you got the citizens holding their middle finger up. This puts the politicians in a strange position. And why I find this so particularly funny, folks, it's not that they're scofflaws, that they're ignoring the law. The law that they passed is unconstitutional. We have no obligation
100%.
to respect laws that are in gross violation of our constitutional rights. Our founders would tell you the same to your face if they were still here. So this act of noncompliance by the sheriffs, 90 of the 102, and by the citizens, because 99.99% of them have just said nope.
Hold on. So Tim, I have to offer a correction. It's 99.999, sir. Don't you keep that thousandth. I want that thousandth. Okay.
Oh, too funny. Yes. And so,
it's too good.
Oh, the anti-gunners have to be so frustrated. I can just see all the anti-gunners pulling their hair out and frothing at the mouth and screaming they're going to leave the nation and all the other crazy stuff they do.
Davy's got his thumbs ready. Davy's got his thumbs ready. He's coming, by the way, guys. We got a reappearance of Davy Hogg in G3. It's going to be amazing. So that's where we're at so far. But just in case we were curious, and we didn't really land this plane, Tim, we've got something from one of the people interviewed in this article. Listen to the end of this. It's not that they're not aware of the law. The lack of registration is a massive act of civil disobedience by gun owners statewide.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't know about it. Maybe they just don't know about it, Tim. We should do $1 million marketing campaign.
That's true, because it's true.
Thank you, doctor. That was well timed as well. He's getting good, Tim. He is getting good. So, I think in summation, this is going well in Illinois right now. And the ultimate irony, Tim, the ultimate irony is what they're going to do next. And just because this is Gun Controller 101, and tell me if you agree or disagree, but Gun Controller 101 would dictate that now they have to make an example of somebody. And so they're going to find somebody who's going to get arrested and then charged with these things after January 1 to make an example, which will then perpetuate the acceleration to the Supreme Court. And I look forward to seeing you there because this.
Yes, because the minute they arrest somebody and charge them with this, then they have standing in the court. They have a reason to go to court. They have a reason to wind up in federal court and arguing that it's in violation of their Second Amendment rights. And So once again, we see that the gun grabbers painting themselves into a corner, right? By sticking by their guns and ignoring what 90 of 102 sheriffs have to say and 99.999% of gun owners have to say.
You dropped that 9 one more time.
Did I?
I need my 1,000th.
Did I?
No, I did 3.
99.
You know what?
I did 3.
We're going to do a flag on the play, And Dr. Producer, he's going to come in here, or Dr. Button Pusher is going to tell on the screen in a graphic if you did it or not. And I will-
99.999% of gun owners have.
I didn't eat my
It's so
Wheaties this
beautiful.
morning.
God
Yeah. So
almighty,
anyway,
you had one job.